I'm getting your message. Are you getting mine?
Let's talk clone, book or something with creators. Speak truth to power, keep an eye out for you silly racist. And now they use it to describe anything. See, you gave up on your life, that's your money. And now they use it to describe anything.
Me, the moment the AI steps into my line of sight and the friendly fire's on.
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
This is CouchCube and I am going to be looking at Back 4 Blood on the PlayStation 5 in 2024. It's been 2 years since I looked at this game and it wasn't even on a 9th gen system. As that intro suggests, my obsession with Back 4 Blood stems from Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, the programmers, the AI, some of that connective tissue for want of a better expression. You certainly find it within this game with massive nods with the safe house and some of the items that you pick up, but is that AI improved on its launch because it wasn't as snappy as it could have been, but it did excel massively in areas. I think it's plateaued a bit. This game's had a long time to get sorted out and I want to look at that extra content and really let's just soak up some of this sound design and visuals for the PlayStation 5. No graphics toggle. No graphics toggle. It runs at 4K and 60 frames per second apparently. I saw dips in the cutscenes and some in the intro, but absolutely nothing went wrong when I was playing this, and that was one of the most impressive things. On my medium PC it fell over a little bit here and there. This is also a purely offline review. I feel that's important with a game like this, especially after its launch date and having so long to add content and different improvements in the single player experience. I know I'm sort of square peg round holing it with trying to get an offline idea of this game, but there's loads and it does ask you right at the start if you want to go into that offline content. I think that's super important that you're asked and not shielded from loads of that main game content. You do get access to the Trial of the Worms, which we'll look at the end, but you've got that full on campaign, just not the quick play option to have randoms join your lobby. Still got that strange don't scare the crows mechanic in the early stages of Act 1, and then it's sort of ditched towards mid-campaign, so I'm not too sure what the idea behind that was, whether it's something they're moving away from. It did strike me as a little bit weird. You did just see some very tight corridor combat there with the AI firing over my shoulder and vice versa. It's extremely good with smaller areas, but sometimes you'll just get attacked in the back and they'll all be watching. It's weird. You're not always prioritized. You also might be thinking, why on earth are you playing this game offline with bots? Well, if you think about it, when you're charging forward in a zombie game like this, if you're with mates, I always want to be the one to be out the front, shooting everything first, getting all the items, blowing up all the barrels, all the cool guns, and I'll always be in everybody's way. I won't be ducking. I'll always be worrying about getting shot in the back of the head. You don't have to apologize to any of your actions with the AI behind you.
Want to unlock cards or cosmetics? Then you need to earn supply points. Complete maps and challenges in campaign and swarm mode.
So let's just cover the game's gimmick quickly. It's all about cards. You've got 15 slots and you unlock a whole bunch every time you do an act, or you can even find them within map. I will say, I've never thought, oh my god, thank god I've got X card in my loadout. You will notice if you've got more than one grenade or that you reload faster, but they don't really change the course of the game unless they're the corrupted cards, which will make some of the enemies have a variant. That's where things get quite interesting.
Loader!
Another huge section of interest for me is this Act 1, getting on that ferry, setting off that bomb. When I played it with 3 AI players on launch, they would get lost, they'd get hooked on the stairs. I couldn't get them out in time. It was very difficult to complete this mission. Not the case this time. They stick to you like glue. It's pretty cool, and I was really over the moon to see them just about make it off that damn boat. One of the things I also craved were variant in the ridden or different zombie types. This is kind of quenched pretty well in the levels that come up. I can't measure it, but I'm pretty sure they've injected some cooler zombies a little bit earlier on, seeing some of those bigger tanks. There seems to be a few more hunter spawns in map and just a lot more to set you off kilter with just the standard zombies coming at you.
Fire in the hole!
Because we have this 60 frames per second and this apparent 4K, the speed at which you can operate in this game, your run speed, your reload speed at times, and just your auto aim, which is quite generous, but how quickly you put the weapon to your eye and everything stacking up with speed, it feels extremely exhilarating. This is probably one of the best performing zombie games out there currently, and I've played quite a lot of Dead Island 2.
This just keeps getting better and better. Get down! Kill this for what? Giving up! Everything has to stop.
The gun thing does confuse me, however. It starts you with the same rifle that Tom Hanks has in Saving Private Ryan, and then gives you MP3s, MP5s, shotguns to absolutely die for. On my previous review of the game, I went through a lot of the weapon table out the back at the firing range, and this game just excels with gun type. It's just absolutely amazing. They feel incredible, and that brings me over to one of the greatest aspects of this PlayStation 5 version.
We got a convoy!
The resistance and the feedback in the haptic triggers is one of the leading of all of the first-person shooters I've played that are on the market. It is returnal good. With the pushback on certain guns, it feels incredibly natural, and this is up against me just reviewing Need for Speed Unbound, which is the easiest thing to do, is put some haptic feedback on a car accelerator trigger. Nothing there, it's like a little bit of bacon hanging off the end of your pad. That is the famous Shining hotel carpet. Wasn't given a second to soak that up, and the trike is over on the left there. On that weapon subject still, this has got some of the strongest sidearms in the zombie game I've also had the fortune to come across. That pistol is ridiculously OP, but if you do come across a hatchet or a baseball bat, just be wary, because you will be carrying that thing around for the rest of the level until you find a replacement firearm. It's your call. And I do love these new special infected, particularly that whaler, the way it dies. It is very Carpenter. It would not look out of place in Still Wakes the Deep.
I want to get you. Get back!
Look out! Read it!
Team, a little help, please.
The busier it gets, the better it just seems to perform. Some of this stuff has really blown my mind away. One of the major aspects of Left 4 Dead 1, and I wrote a smaller article about this, was the horde mode, the way they spill through things. I want to see a little bit more interior with this game. It likes to lean towards nighttime and outside, and I think one of the cooler things about a good zombie game with strong dissipation and a good horde mechanic, the tight corridors, smaller rooms, playing around with that light with the muzzle flash. There is also a carry-in item to X level, and it gave me the opportunity to not fire at stuff, walk around with a briefcase to see if the AI did protect me. You do see quite a lot of those green notifications up in the top right, that one of them is shielded you from some sort of zombie attack. So I was quite impressed with it, but I did have to keep putting the damn thing down, and for 3 of them, not being able to cope with what I could deal with one eye shut, I wasn't that overwhelmed with it.
Jim, try using your sight.
You okay?
Like a 2-minute survival section, and oh my god, I put that turret gun down too far forward, couldn't get the arc round, didn't want to take the time out to move it, and we made it by the skins of our teeth, quite literally down to a single bar of health.
Hope there's some cold ones along with the meds in those ice boxes.
Good job, people. Now go get some rest.
My verdict overall on the AI with this 2024 version of the game on a PlayStation 5 is that it's totally workable. When the game first came out, first 6 months of launch, there was some weird stuff going on with the early acts and the campaign. Overall, I'm having a loads better time with this single player content. They do still surprise you though.
Point the business in and ready.
Let's just cover that campaign topic very quickly. I'm really impressed with the set pieces. I do like how they mess around with the times of day. Sometimes it's dawn in the middle of the night. It's pretty scary. And this hive stuff, a little bit of spoilerage, but there's some really cool aesthetic detail, zombie infestation attached to the structure of the single player campaign. So that's really welcome. Totally loved it. Let's get onto the lair of the white worm. A little bit like the skirmish mode on an RTS, you get it all. It pumps in late game enemies and you have a choice of really cool map. Everything's just quicker in your face. You've got guys in military hardware. There's also armament on certain special infected. This is definitely the bit of content to go to if you've had a good dip into that campaign. And how cool is it that it's completely offline, still with all the bots? You can't say that about a game like Darktide, for instance. I do want to talk about NPC loadout and Hoffman very quickly. Hoffman, get over here. Hoffman!
Come here. Come here.
Bro's like, I'm gonna have a shotgun for the duration of this entire level, and I may shoot you with it by accident in the back, and I can't deal with anything at range. Just putting it out there. Cheers, Hoffman.
Need to reload. Wheeler here.
That is the sweet sound of my team dealing with things whilst I get a decent pan. This is a great zombie game and an excellent thing to pull off extra. I may have to do a World War Z comparison. I have been Couch Coot. I will see you down there.
I'm getting your message. Are you getting mine?